Hey guys, how is everybody doing this evening? Hopefully you guys are all doing very well. Welcome to a Sunday Night Live. We did a Saturday Night Live last night. We're doing a Sunday Night Live tonight. So if you're new to the channel, just drop your name in the chat below if you'd like to join us in the chat. We have a really good chat going usually, most evenings. Hello everybody that's already in here. Hi guys. This is a true crime channel, so if you're into true crime, please hit the subscribe button, the like button when you're coming in, the bell icon to be alerted to all new content. And if you want to be alerted to all of my all of my content, just make sure you're hitting the bell icon and then hitting all notifications. I know sometimes it's not showing some people notified, I guess. It's not showing my videos, like it's not notifying people of my lives until after my lives are already posted. So that doesn't make much sense because it's a live. You want to interact in a live. You don't want, sometimes you don't want to watch it on a replay. You want to interact. So I don't know why it's doing that. If it does that, I would just unclick the bell icon and then click it again just to like refresh it or something. But if it gives you any more trouble, just let me know. Also, we have a membership program that you can join. It is an awesome membership program. Different perks. You get videos first, hours or days before. You'll get like pictures, blogs, life blog, things like that. And then if you do like the tier 3, you can pick either, I can help you either grow your YouTube channel, I can help you grow a LLC, or I can help you start a small boutique business. Because those are 3 things that I am pretty decent at, I guess, a little bit. I don't know, YouTube, not so much yet. We're working on the YouTube part. Hello, Sheba. Hi, hello, everybody. Hey, Sugar and Spice, everything nice? You guys, you have the longest name, but I love it. That's a good name. So tonight, basically, I wanted to go over the Idaho 4 massacre and the, we have a lot of footage to go over. So I wanted to like jump right in and get it kind of going because I wanted to stream the live from News Nation for you guys. Brian Entin is doing an interview tonight with Kaylee's family again. And so we just kind of want to hear what they have to say. So high heels in the air. So I went ahead, I'm going to try to stream it. I have like YouTube TV. So it's up and it's like on the live News Nation. So if all goes well, it should play. If it doesn't, I'm going to be like really crazy mad, but I do have it up. And actually right now they're showing, I just actually click on it. They're showing the ugly mug of what's his name, Tanner, from the Athena Strand case. So they're playing that right now. But I wanted to show you guys just a couple of videos of Kaylee's dad. Like the first one is going to be Kaylee's mom and dad. And then the second one is Kaylee's dad. I believe this one is it. Let me see. I had like a bunch of stuff on here, so I have to check to see whenever we start going. No, this is the second one I wanted to show you. So let me find it. I just have like a bunch of pages up here. Sorry, guys. And then I was taking notes, of course, like before I came on. This is it. So I'll share this one with you. Let's try that again, guys. You know me, I always have a bunch of screens up. And then I never know where I'm going. But I think we're going here. So I'll try not to, I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit so it doesn't like blast in your ears. But we're going to watch this one first and then we'll play the second tape and then we'll discuss a little bit before we start the live. Because these are both like 9 minutes long. But I wanted to watch you guys to watch these.
Good evening, American.
And just really listen. It's a lot of really good information.
Moscow, Idaho. Tonight we are in front of the Moscow Police Department, and you may be asking why. It's been about 3 weeks since the horrific stabbing death of 4 college students at the University of Idaho. 3 weeks since we lost Zayna, Maddie, Kaylee, and Ethan. 3 weeks, and still the police have no suspect or a person of interest. The community has been left in limbo, left with more confusion and more questions. We are on the hunt for answers for them. Moscow deserves answers. The students of the university deserve answers. These 4 young innocent victims deserve answers, and so do their families. So let's start there. Joining me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez, Christy and Steve Gonzalez. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's literally like what nightmares are made of. Like when you're a little kid and you think of the boogeyman, that's just how I feel. Like that's just the horrific details of everything. Them just having a good time, going home and going to bed, and that's happening to them.
Your best friend crawling into bed.
Just crawling in bed.
Every
and
girl
the
in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, meet you at McDonald's. I mean, the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No, I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim. You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie. They're gonna hear these.
Never choose one.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child. But these two girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these two girls, I'm going to do what I can do. And we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody, accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. Where does that frustration come from, sir?
They put certain people between you and the officers that are making things happen, and those people are like lawyers, and they don't want to say anything, and they don't have the guts to come up and be alpha and be like leaders and say, hey, we might say something that's wrong. We're going to take that hit. So the officers, they look me straight in their eyes. The lead detective looked me in his eyes. I have no doubt he's working as hard as he can, but somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out there. Like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets. It ain't going to happen. Think it through. It's not going to happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from the police?
Thursday,
We looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
about 3:00 on Thursday.
And
Did y'all get an update from the police about the investigation?
There was nothing. We have no updates for you.
There was no update. They needed
Yeah,
me to sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something
Some mail.
that was mail related. So we're working with them. We're not selling them out. We love our law support.
The FBI, everybody that's here. We just have no information as family, and it gets tough day after day after day. I mean, every day you just wake up and think today's the day. We're going to hear something, and you see these, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing games. This is serious. These are people's lives, and this is the future of this community. There's going to be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't. So be serious.
I had the opportunity to speak to some of my sources, and I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe than the other. And this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
They have told us that it was targeted, but they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to go up the steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. They're mad. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just going to say it. Wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
Calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in a box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to the investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked. And it's, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911, somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you've asked that, but we know that this is getting 3 weeks in and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I've reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week that this case may be cold?
We're scared.
When you tell me you don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I want to, please forgive me. Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then you know, the community, this is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we ask for. I hope like a DNA, a family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking, this town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to school together. You know, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy just with volunteers.
Lineage companies were,
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource that we have available, our audience is praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. It was big for you guys to come back to Moscow tonight. I know it took a lot of courage to do it, and I'm hoping we can get some answers for you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Okay, let me, I meant to share the other tab with you. Start my camera. So there's another video. So there's a lot of questions in that video. He said, you know, why did they need to go up the stairs? There was no need for them to do that, that the injuries between Kaylee and Madison were consistent, and that they were told that it was like a targeted event. You think the police already have a suspect? I kind of do too, heels in the air. That's what I kind of do too. I feel like they know so much, like he knows so much that he like wants to say, but he like can't say it. I don't know. Like there's so much he wants to say, but he does clear some things up in the interview today. And I wanted to show you guys that one before the other one came on, the actual like live that they're doing tonight. I don't even know how long it is. I think it's like an hour, but however long it is, we'll watch it. But this is her dad. The next day he came on and he's speaking out again about, you know, everything that's going on. So this clears some stuff up too. Let me unmute it.
Were brutally stabbed to death inside their home. Investigators still have not made
and then we'll talk about it.
Officials are combing through thousands of tips, crime scene photos, and evidence.
The father of one of those victims, Kaylee Conclava, is now revealing the manner of death for his daughter and her friend Maddie were different leading him to believe one of them may have been the target. The heartbroken dad, Steve Conclaves, joins us now. Steve, before we start this interview, I just want you to know how much our hearts go out to you. That I know from what I'm hearing from people everywhere that they are with you, they're praying for you, and they're also hoping for justice to come sooner rather than later for your daughter and her friends. You mentioned here, you talked about the manner in which Kaylee and Maddie were killed is different. And what does that tell you, and what are the police telling you that means?
There's a couple things that tell me with common sense, but I'm not a professional, so I want to specify that. But they've said the entry point was the slider or the window. It was in the middle floor. So to me, he doesn't have to go upstairs. His entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs. Looks like he probably may have not gone downstairs. We don't know that for sure, but he obviously went upstairs. So I'm using logic that he chose to go up there when he didn't have to. And I can kind of tell by my daughter's texts, messages. She did call 911. She wasn't saying anything along the lines of like she had heard something or she was in fear. So I'm just putting the dots together. As far as the investigators, they're very tight-lipped and they're keeping everything close to their vest. And I understand that. And I'm probably not the right person to share all these things with. So I'm just trusting them that their case is super tight and they don't really need to reach out to the community. And, all the evidence is right there in that home.
So, Steve, and I want to be respectful, as I can tell you're trying to walk this tightrope as well with law enforcement, but the desire to know and get some type of action as well. You've said both now to Rachel and then in the clip in your appearance with Lawrence Jones that your daughter and Maddie had different means or manner of attack, and that suggests one of them was targeted. Can you share with us, do you know, and you can't share either way, which one was targeted?
I can't. I asked for permission to do just that, and they said no. I probably disclosed information that they wish I wouldn't have said, but the story's going cold. There's less people coming to Moscow. I'm not going to go sleep in my bed knowing that I could get up and I could go to town and I could do something. And I'm not going to go away. And I hate to be a pain, but as a father, I just can't even sleep thinking that I could be doing something. So that's why I'm up.
Understandable. Wow.
Let me ask the flip side too. You're being respectful toward police about the fact that they need to be tight-lipped. But if there was something you felt like you deserved to know or you should know as a father at this point, are there questions you have unresolved from the police that you feel like, hey, just throw me a bone here and let me know?
For sure. I mean, alibis, just share the alibi. If you're not sharing an alibi, to me, it tells me that you're not 100% confident that it's going to stick, or you have somebody who's going to come forward and say, hey, I don't know what he told you or that person's alibi was, but I have this information. I have something. So if you don't share the alibi, it makes it a little bit harder for us to just let those go. And I've said it before, I don't want to make victims out of just bystanders and witnesses. So I just share those things, and that would help.
Steve, do you get the sense that you're being asked to not talk more and that law enforcement is being so tight-lipped to protect an investigation that is honing in on a conclusion, or because they're totally lost and there is no real sense of direction? And I think all of us, we want to trust law enforcement. We want them to do their job. But I don't know if you know. I have no idea. Is this thing honing in at this point, or is it scattered all over the place?
Wish I knew for sure. I did sit down with the investigator, the lead investigator, and I looked in his eyes and I got a sense that this guy was going to do everything in his power to figure something out. But if the evidence isn't there, that's the part that I'm concerned. And then there's layers of separation. The communication is not the same as the boots on ground. All the officers that are out on the streets, those guys, they're working their tails off. But there's a different person to just the communication. And that guy's sitting with the lawyer, and that guy's sitting there telling him, you got to protect things that are beyond the case, like the town and the community and the college itself. Those don't matter as much to me. I mean, I definitely don't want to hurt them, but I have an agenda, and I think it's pretty clear. It's these two girls, and that's what I'm working for. And I'm not going to let that story fall apart just because they don't want wanted posters, on their next rush of students that come into town.
Wow. I have to say, Steve, I hadn't really considered those factors, but it's obvious that that would be a consideration for the communications director of the police department and also the PR for the school and the town. Are you communicating with the parents of the other victims? Are they feeling as frustrated as you are? And I hate to ask a two-part question, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do you feel confident in the police investigation and the people investigating right now?
I do not feel confident, and that's why I push the envelope and say a little bit more. I hate to be that guy, but there's a job to do for everybody. Has a job and a role to play, and this is my role as the parent. I have talked to obviously Maddie's mother and her father, and I've talked to Xana's father, and he said, hey, you can speak on behalf and you can help push this narrative. So I feel confident there. That's as far as the real communications that I have. So one family have missed out to being able to be in the same location and the same thing to really get on the same page. So I try not to mention that and stay within my lane of what is my role. And I'm not trying to just gear it all to my daughter. It's just, I can't speak for other people.
Yeah. Steve, before we let you go, just share a little bit with our audience about Kaylee.
Kaylee was amazing, hard worker. She hung out with two boys, her brother and her cousin, and she was right in between them. She wanted to be faster than them. She was that girl that was really she was kind of like a Punky Brewster type girl. And we missed out on a really smart person that was going to be a little conservative. She was conservative too. She was always looking up stories on child, getting trafficked, and she was telling me that she thinks it's a lot bigger than people understand. So, and we can't replace her, guys. There's no replacing any one of these people.
Steve, we're all parents on this couch, and I just can't tell you how much we feel for you, and can't imagine what you're going through, you and your whole family. And I know that you came on the show today because you're hoping that people that might have information, you're hoping that more information come forward. And so we encourage anybody to call 208-883-7180. The phone number is on the screen right now. And I've heard you say it before, Steve, it could be anything. You have no idea how small the piece of information could be that could help.
And Steve, good on you for agitating. We need more men and fathers willing to do precisely what you're doing, keeping people honest and working toward a solution. God bless you.
You're doing your daughter's memory proud. And frankly, you're an amazing example of fatherhood, even after something tragic like this happened to her. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Our heart.
That was really sweet at the end. Oh, he is really, seriously. We have 3 minutes, but let me go on there to make sure it's on commercial. So I'll just put it in the background. That way we know when it comes on. So we're going to watch the special report that Brian Entin did, or he's doing tonight. So it should be coming on. And then I'll just keep that in the background. I have it on mute, so just kind of watch for it because it should be live. It should be one of, I would assume, but they do have a couple of different channels on YouTube. So hopefully this is the right one. Because if not, that would be awful. But I could just kind of make it like that for now, maybe not that big. Maybe not that big. If you guys are just joining, if you would click that like button when you're coming in, that would be great. If you do like the video, if you appreciate true crime, we are a true crime channel. So you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to subscribe to the channel. It's a good channel. It's a good channel to be in. We do have a really good chat. We do. We really do. So we always keep it really respectful. You know, we try to stick to the facts, but we do have our opinions and we put them in the chat and we just kind of see what's going on with different cases. And it's been rough lately. It's been a lot. It's been overwhelming. The amount of people, the amount of cases we've had, I feel like. You can't see me? Like right here? Huh. You should be able to. I'm just like small. Oopsie, now I'm like really big. So, yeah, I'm like huge now. I'm like, ooh, I got a new camera. If you haven't been on one of my lives the last couple of days, 2 days ago, I went to do a live and literally everything that could go wrong, like went wrong. My computer had like some sort of something on it. So like it wasn't working. It kicked me out of StreamYard, kicked me out of like YouTube, kicked me off of everything. And then I came back on and then my mic wasn't working, but my mic's brand new pretty much. So I'm just like, what is going on? So I got to open up an early Christmas gift and I got this new camera and it's really good. I love it. I really love it. And also once I hit 5,000 subscribers, I get I'm going to get a neon sign. So it's TitaniumBuilt for behind me. So if you haven't, I don't know. No, it's working now. I just have a new one. My other one was like not as good either. The picture quality on this one is completely different, like night and day. You guys can see a lot better. What does Kala say? My phone's possessed. Mine gets like that. I know. I was really excited about that Heels in there. This should be coming on here soon. I'm really excited to watch this. I was out of town earlier. I was like an hour and 20 minutes away. We went to a mall up there just to kind of Christmas shop and look around. And when I got home, I was like trying to find this. So I went through Hulu and I was going to do it that way, but I don't have like Hulu TV. This might be it here. So yeah, let me see.
Turned upside down.
Yeah, here it is, guys. So let me get it bigger for you.
We lost 4 beautiful souls.
The hardest part, we cannot change the outcome.
For a quiet college campus to become a crime scene.
This could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
What do you say to the students who are scared?
I tell them I'm scared too.
And for a killer to seemingly vanish in the middle of the night.
There is a threat out there still.
It's all hands on deck for investigators, racing to retrace steps, comb through evidence, and stop this case from going cold.
They could break open any time.
Because it only takes one clue, one slip up, one tip.
Somebody somewhere has information about this case.
To end the nightmare.
We owe this to these young kids.
Idaho Murder Mystery, a News Nation special report, starts right now. Good evening, I'm Brian Entin, live in Moscow, Idaho, for this News Nation special report. 3 weeks ago, the unthinkable happened in this house behind me. 4 university students brutally murdered here. Their killer not only is still on the run, but still all of this remains a mystery 3 weeks later. And we have breaking news tonight. New details that we have just confirmed. News Nation is learning that Kaylee Gonzalez's injuries were significantly more brutal than her best friend Maddie's injuries, which may end up being a very, very important piece of evidence when it comes to determining who the target was in this attack. I have learned Kaylee and Maddie were in an upstairs room in the house, so the killer had to go specifically upstairs to get to them. And again, that new information just confirmed that Kaylee's injuries were, quote, significantly more brutal. That is new information that we are going to analyze coming up over the next hour. All of this really is a nightmare for this town, a nightmare that they just cannot wake up from. Over the next hour, we are going to be diving into all of the details of this case, learning more about the victims and their families, trying to make sense of this unimaginable loss here in Idaho. We're gonna go take you around the crime scene, show you what it looks like, as well as an exclusive look at the Idaho State Crime Lab. And we're going to remain focused throughout all of this on the victims and their family. To try and understand how we got to this point, first, we go back to the beginning. Moscow, Idaho, a beautiful, quiet college town near the border with Washington State, blanketed in snow this time of year, and home to the University of Idaho, with 11,000 students who have almost never had a reason not to feel safe.
The worst crimes we see in town involve things like bike theft or cars getting keyed or something like that. We're a nice little artsy town that provides a great quality of life to a lot of people.
But what happened in the early morning hours of November 13th has shaken this community like never before.
I'm scared too. This is a worrying time, but we also have the ability to understand that this is just another example that crime happens and it can happen anywhere.
Fear, a college community still in shock following the brutal stabbings of 4 of their students. So many asking, how did this happen? We start on the evening of Saturday, November 12th. Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan, where many college students spend their Saturday nights. At this local bar, the Corner Club on North Main Street in downtown Moscow. According to local law enforcement, the two were at the bar between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At around 1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Madison moved over to a local food truck. You can see them here on surveillance video from the Grub Truck down the street on South Main Street. News Nation has confirmed the 2 women used a private party for a ride home from downtown to their home on King Road. The home is about a mile and a half, or about a 6-minute drive from the food truck. They got home around 1:56 a.m., according to digital evidence collected by investigators. Investigators also say Kaylee and Madison made several calls to an ex-boyfriend of one of the girls 7 times, raising some eyebrows. That person has now been cleared, according to law enforcement. Kaylee Gonsalves' sister spoke with News Nation's Chris Cuomo.
There's no boy problem. There's no threat. There's no high-risk lifestyle that could have indicated this. It has taken all of us completely by shock, and we have absolutely no ideas.
Another roommate, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were also out the night of November 12th. Investigators confirm Ethan and Xana were seen at the Sigma Chi fraternity.
Give me just 1 minute and I'm going to figure it out and I'll be right back. I don't know why I did that. Hold on 1 second.
Many questions
unanswered.
Authorities remaining tight-lipped, saying there are many details still simply don't know. Do you know inside the house whether the victims' doors were locked into their individual rooms?
Okay.
I don't know that.
Do you know were any messages left behind in the house, like almost symbols from the killer
Because sometimes in other cases, you know, if it was like a fetish killing, they would leave something on the body or write something on the wall. Is there anything like that?
I'm not aware of anything like that.
Okay, I'm trying to find it. Sorry, guys.
While authorities remain tight-lipped, we are learning other details from the families.
They
of
like
the
pulled it up
victims.
under a different
The
app.
vigil on campus Wednesday night. Kaylee's father gave insight into how close his daughter and Madison were discovered, saying the two were found together in the same bed. Earlier this week, there was confusion when law enforcement.
Okay, I have to find it somewhere else. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I'm just pulling it back up now. I think I accidentally like signed out of my account a second ago. I did not mean to do that. So we'll just rewind it a few minutes. Okay.
Went to high school together. Then they started looking at colleges. They came here together. From tweens to Lake City High, teachers say the two girls never parted. Roommates at the University of Idaho, Maddie did join a different sorority. The live music or one of the occupants were found together in the same. Angry in order to. At the Sigma Chi fraternity.
This is just another example that crime happens, and it can happen anywhere.
Fear. A college community still in shock following the brutal stabbings of 4 of their students. So many asking, how did this happen? We start on the evening of Saturday, November 12th. Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan, where many college students spend their Saturday nights. At this local bar, the Corner Club on North Main Street in downtown Moscow. According to local law enforcement, the two were at the bar between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At around 1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Madison moved over to a local food truck. You can see them here on surveillance video from the Grub Truck down the street on South Main Street. News Nation has confirmed the two women used a private party for a ride home from downtown to their home on King Road. The home is about a mile and a half, or about a 6-minute drive from the food truck. They got home around 1:56 a.m., according to digital evidence collected by investigators. Investigators also say Kaylee and Madison made several calls to an ex-boyfriend of one of the girls 7 times, raising some eyebrows. That person has now been cleared, according to law enforcement. Kaylee Gonsalves' sister spoke with News Nation's Chris Cuomo.
There's no boy problem. There's no threat. There's no high-risk lifestyle that could have indicated this. It has taken all of us completely by shock, and we have absolutely no ideas.
Another roommate, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were also out the night of November 12th. Investigators confirm Ethan and Xana were seen at the Sigma Chi fraternity house on the University of Idaho campus. Here's where things get a little shaky. Law enforcement confirms with News Nation Ethan and Xana were seen at the fraternity house around 9 p.m. They reportedly made it back home around 1:45 a.m. Investigators are still trying to piece together what happened between 9 p.m. and 1:45 a.m.
Figure out who they were with, what that was going on, maybe any routes or paths that they took to end up going home, those types of things. Potentially, that is critical to the investigation.
As for the two surviving roommates, they were also out on the night of November 12th in the Moscow community. They returned home by 1 a.m. The two surviving roommates did not wake up until later in the morning on November 13th. That is when they called other friends to the house because they believed one of the second-floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m. on November 13th, a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the home. Officers discovered Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan dead inside the residence on the second and third floors of the home, suffering from stab wounds.
It was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. And they were definitely stabbings. And I mean, it has to be somebody that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death.
So many questions unanswered. Authorities remaining tight-lipped, saying there are many details still simply don't know. Do you know inside the house whether the victims' doors were locked into their individual rooms?
I don't know that.
Do you know were any messages left behind in the house, like almost symbols from the killer? Because sometimes in other cases, you know, if it was like a fetish killing, they would leave something on the body or write something on the wall. Is there anything like that?
I'm not aware of anything like that.
While authorities remain tight-lipped, we are learning other details from the families of the victims. At the vigil on campus Wednesday night, Kaylee's father gave insight into how close his daughter and Madison were discovered, saying the two were found together in the same bed. Earlier this week, there was confusion when law enforcement said there was a miscommunication between police and the county prosecutor about whether this was a targeted attack or not.
My understanding is the investigators believe that whoever's responsible was specifically looking at this particular residence. That's all that they can offer at this point.
The latest from police is they do think the murders were targeted, but police say they have not concluded if the target was the house or one of the occupants. Investigators have also confirmed a 6th person on the lease was not in the home at the time of the murders. And the roommates and friends who lived in this house behind me were so many things to so many people. Jokesters, a fashionista, some prolific photographers. They were really just typical college kids preparing to take on the world.
Guys, can anybody drive me cousin?
Their friendships so deep.
Did anybody do their chores today? I'm just gonna do it.
The roommates could rock spot-on impressions of one another.
It's 8. Gotta go. Jake's calling. Oh, Jake's calling.
Two of the young women grew up together. Madison Mogan, Maddie from Coeur d'Alene, and best friend Kaylee Gonzalez from nearby Rathdrum, Idaho. Roommate Xana Kernodle went to high school close by in Post Falls, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin from out of state, Mount Vernon, Washington, all coming together at the University of Idaho, the tiny college town of Moscow.
Community is reacting with grief, concern. These were 4 very popular people on campus.
Emotions raw at a community vigil on campus Wednesday, including Ethan Chapin's mother.
My name is Stacy Chapin. I'm Ethan's mom.
Her 20-year-old coming to the university this fall with his brother and sister. Triplets, they were inseparable. Ethan's last day spent accompanying Sister Maisie to her sorority formal. Yet the freshman was usually with his girlfriend, Xana Kernodle, a junior studying marketing and reveling in the pair's growing relationship. a proud post of Mouse and Chef, a playful version of Ratatouille.
And I want people to take this personally because she was everyone's daughter.
Kaylee Gonzalez's sister talking to News Nation's Chris Cuomo about her younger sister. Kaylee was finishing her senior year strong, with her best friend, Maddie Mogan, always at her side.
So then they went to high school together. Then they started looking at colleges. They came here together.
From tweens to Lake City High, teachers say the two girls never parted. Roommates at the University of Idaho, Maddie did join a different sorority. The live music lover showed off her marketing skills, running the social media account at the Mad Greek restaurant where she worked.
And in the end, they died together in the same room, in the same bed.
Thank all the people working on trying to figure this out. And it really means a lot.
Artsy and funky Moscow, Idaho, the perfect backdrop for the college journey.
Hey guys, I know I talk about myself a lot, but like, what would you guys do in my situation?
The home on King Road, which once hosted Forever Friends, now bears visible scars of the unthinkable. 4 young lives taken, who, as shown on Xana's high school graduation cap, had their sights set on giving the world so much more.
Make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
It's just so heartbreaking what these families are going through. I had the chance to sit down with the Gonzalez family in Kaylee's home. Their loss, it is so heavy, and they have been vocal about their relentless search for justice and frustrations with the investigation. Here's part 1 of our conversation.
You know, she was hurt so bad that she was not able to recover. That is just terrible.
Oh, it's okay.
It's terrible. I cannot fathom in my head what kind of person did this.
It's capable.
And why. I can't sleep at night. I lay in bed pondering just millions of different scenarios. And just, I want to know, but then there's stuff obviously you don't want to know, you know, but
You just
I think I want to know it all. And
you're okay.
I just don't understand why, how somebody can take somebody, four of them. It wasn't just my girl, just so savagely.
Is anyone acting differently since the murders? I mean, is there anyone that you have a weird feeling about that the girls knew or that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say not in the immediate circle by any means, but a few of the names that have been circulating around, I think it's hard not to kind of, you know, dig into this. And I don't know how much of that is just because we have so little information from law enforcement and how much of it really is, you know, a sister or a father's intuition.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe he shouldn't have been. And yeah,
Share the strong alibi.
just really fast.
If you can
like,
dismiss.
an hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know they were people that, you know, definitely should have been looked at. And yeah.
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, you know what we know. We've, you know, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, you know, we still stand that way. So I did just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, you know, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of innocent people.
Exactly.
We definitely don't want to do that.
You've mentioned before that you didn't want to have a funeral right now because the killer's still out there. Is that something that you're still thinking about? Are you nervous at all? I mean, because in Moscow, you know, we talk to students, people are really nervous there.
It should be.
Yeah.
This targeted to me, it seems behavior based. That's why I don't like it. And it kind of pits the parents against each other. So I don't like that. I just told some of the other parents today that, you know, if your daughter has no ill will from me, man, to me, if you go have a couple beers or go out and hang out with your friends and then come home and go to bed, if that's your target, then I think we all do that. I think we all come home and go to our beds.
It's all target.
Yeah. So
it's kind of a bad word then. It doesn't really make sense in some ways.
Exactly.
Even the prosecutor told me that.
Yeah.
He said, I think it was kind of a weird word to choose.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes sense if there was some bad behavior that they did, let's say, I don't know, they came from a strip club or something, and then somebody followed them home. That's a targeted thing. That's what comes. I've had innocent people that were interviewed that were their neighbors, and they said, I'd be a lot more scared if it wasn't targeted.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing anything to target me. And I'm like, well, if targeting's just going to bed with your friends.
So maybe that was just a way to calm people down?
I feel like it was strategic.
Yeah.
It was a strategic way to keep people from hitting the door, transferring out, and turning that place into a ghost town. So,
You never think you're going to lose your little sister.
yeah.
Ever. You never think you're going to have to bury your daughter.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's nothing compared to the pain that I feel.
Yeah.
Losing Kaylee. And I don't know. It's several things. It's her age. It's how it happened.
It's their life.
Why it happened. Who did this to her?
Just graduated.
Who did this to her and her friends? The fact that she was with her best friend. I mean, since they were little girls.
That family tonight is so heartbroken. I've been in touch with them. It's literally unimaginable to think about what they are going through, but they are so determined to find this killer, and they say they are going to keep the pressure on the police until that happens. Okay, coming up, we're going to talk more about that breaking news that we learned about just tonight about the condition of the bodies. We are live tonight from Moscow, Idaho. Up next, Xana's mom breaks her silence for the first time.
We need more answers.
And internet sleuths are on the case.
And this is my theory on multiple parts of the case, okay?
But when does it help the investigation and when does it go too far?
This is day 16, and it doesn't feel a whole lot different than day 1. Our senior national correspondent, Brian Entin, is our eyes and our ears in Moscow, Idaho. I'm really wondering if they're tight-lipped or if they really just don't have a clue.
Are there persons of interest? I'm not aware of any single person.
They died together in the same room, in the same bed.
Just within the span of 24 hours, 2 entirely different stories.
And I've got some breaking news that's going to help clear this up.
Brian Entin, just a superb job as always.
I get bladder leaks. I didn't want to feel like I was wearing the pads I wore when I was 12.
Then I tried the Always Discreet pads.
They fit perfectly in the place they're supposed to.
Look how much it holds. And it still stays thin.
It's the protection we deserve.
There's nothing like hitting the waves.
There's nothing like volunteering, but my moderate to severe eczema can make it hard.
Now, I'm staying ahead of it.
Dupixent helps heal your skin from within, so you can have clearer skin and noticeably less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
At ADP, we understand business today looks nothing like it did yesterday. While it's more unpredictable, its possibilities are endless. From paying your people from anywhere to supporting your talent everywhere. We use data-driven insights to design HR solutions and services to help businesses of all sizes work smarter today so they can have more success tomorrow.
My name is Wendy. I'm 51 years old, and I'm a hospital administrator. When I talk to patients, you can just see from here up when you're wearing a mask. And I have noticed those lines beginning to really become not so much moderate, but more severe. I'm still Wendy, and I got Botox Cosmetic. And I'm really happy with the results because they're very subtle. And I feel like I look like myself, but just less lines.
Botox Cosmetic is FDA approved to temporarily make frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better. The effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Do not receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow, eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Tell your doctor about your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
So what's next?
Whoa. So what's next?
You tell me, man.
Rockstar energy drink.
I'm Brian Entin, live in Moscow, Idaho tonight. The murder mystery has reignited the murder here. The online sleuthing community who gained notoriety during the search for Gabby Petito in 2021. We are talking about the armchair detectives, people who sift through social media looking for any possible clue. And in the vacuum of information from Moscow police, their voices are louder than ever. Here's News the Nation's Ashley Banfield.
What we know is that 6 missed calls were made from Kaylee to Jack's phone, her ex-boyfriend.
From the start, amateur investigators shared their theories on the Moscow, Idaho quadruple murders. The case has gripped the nation. People are craving as much information as possible, trying to put the pieces together themselves.
I'm going to talk about the slayings in Moscow, Idaho.
I'm wondering if it was a friend, not one of the roommates.
This is just as pretty much everybody talking about this case, pure speculation.
Partly fueled by a lack of information from the police.
Everybody has an opinion and they want to come out and say it. And so what that does is that detracts from the public's ability to trust the information that's out there.
Police have always had to work around rumors. They sift through leads, discarding the hoaxes and the hearsay to try to get to the credible tips. But the sheer volume of tips in this case could take a toll on police resources. But they could also crack the case. Nearly 500 digital media tips have come in to an FBI page dedicated to the case. The Moscow police are on rumor control, both on their website and during their news conferences. Often, the rumors get started on social media.
Okay, I have no qualifications to be speaking on the Idaho murders other than the fact that I just have been keeping up with them. And this is my theory on multiple parts of the case, okay?
Social media sites seizing the moment, setting algorithms to gain traction on the Idaho case. TikTok posts with the hashtag Idaho Murders have more than 90 million views. Reddit forums with 27,000 members, and private Facebook groups, each with tens of thousands of people, are all talking about the Idaho murders and are ripe with wild speculation, many delving into Kaylee, Xana, Madison, and Ethan's own social media accounts. But these crowdsourced investigations can also ruin lives as they track down so-called suspects on their own. First, it was the young man in the hoodie seen at the food truck in a video that surfaced days after the murders. Police were flooded with questions about who he was.
I think a lot of people were curious about that person. We were able to identify him.
Police have since cleared that man, but online sleuths soon turned their attention to a new suspect, a neighbor of the victims named Jeremy Reagan. He's a third-year law student at the University of Idaho and gave a TV interview about the comings and goings at the house where the kids were murdered. He admits that he'd given a nervous smile while talking about the crime. Some viewers took issue and made him a target. Soon he moved from target to suspect, and it was open season on the internet.
People online have just been ruthless. They gone through all of my social media history over the past decade, partly because of all the reports that the people had sent in about me in the interview I did.
Reagan has spoken with the police and even volunteered his DNA. But when he didn't hear back from the officers, he simply went to the station himself and gave police a sample. But as amateur investigators continue to dig deep into his personal life, contacting his friends and his family, Jeremy is now so concerned that he carries a pistol for protection. Amateur detectives have had some success before. During the Gabby Petito case, social media hashtags exploded with billions of views. It was social media users that put many of the pieces together and gave police strong clues as to where to look. Back in Moscow, Idaho, with every day that the 4 murders go unsolved, the online investigative community is sure to grow. Each wanting to be the cyber sleuth that unlocks the mystery and solves the crime. But at what cost to the professional investigators and to the public?
And Ashley Banfield joins me now. Ashley, you have been on this story since the very beginning. You've been doing it every single night on your show. We know with the Gabby Petito case, the online sleuths really had an impact, helped solve what happened. Do you think that could happen in this case?
So the reality is, Brian, that every police officer will tell you when trying to solve a case, there is no detail that is too small. And they ask the public to bring forth any details because sometimes that minute detail can be the linchpin that opens up an entire other set of facts. Well, I don't know how many total officers have eyes on this, but, you know, it's upwards of maybe somewhere below 100. And with the online community, they may be able to triangulate some details between photos that may go missed by the detectives on the case. So in one circumstance, it is highly effective to have that many more eyes that could point out something that's critical to the case. But as we just heard, it can also be detrimental, Brian, to Jeremy Reagan and people like him who all of a sudden become targets for attacks. And those attacks can be relentless. I will also say this, Brian, it is not as though an online community hasn't had incredible success before. You mentioned Gabby Petito. There was also a serial killer in Canada that the online community found before the police found him, and the police ignored them. So there are some lessons to be learned from that, and there are some things the community can actually help with in terms of investigation.
And you mentioned Jeremy. I saw him on your show the other night. He actually lives right down the way here. I can see his apartment from where I'm standing. You can't help but feel bad for that guy. I heard him on your show say that he actually went to the police station to give up his own DNA just because he wanted to clear his name. All right, Ashley, don't go anywhere because we are going to talk to you about this breaking news that we talked about at the top of the show, the new revelations that we have confirmed about the conditions of the bodies, what that might mean in terms of who was targeted. We're going to get to that coming up right after this break. We are live from Moscow, Idaho tonight.
Still ahead, a confounding crime scene. How did a killer seemingly go in and out of the house without a trace? And reality is not always what you see on TV.
We call it the CSI effect, that some people think, well, we should be able to do this.
Our exclusive look inside the Idaho State Crime Lab.
Bye-bye cough. Later chest congestion. Hello, 12 hours of relief.
12 hours? Not coughing? Hashtag still not coughing?
There we go. It's not that we think that it's CSI and it's going to be solved in an hour. It's that they put that out there in our head.
In this market,
all of these different shows that are following cops around now.
Different how?
I don't get that.
Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. To say because
we use diversified strategies to position
and
our
I guess
clients'
social media
portfolios
can be
for
a little
long-term goals.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No,
when
we
it
don't
comes
sell commission
to
products.
true crime, I
We're
mean,
fiduciary,
everybody
obligated
does,
to
you
act in
know,
our clients' best interest.
put
So
their
when
2
do you
cents
make more
in,
money?
literally.
Only when your
2
clients make
cents
more
up
money? Yep, we
in
do
the
better
chat.
when our
But
clients
yeah, like,
do better. At Fisher Investments,
I don't know.
we're clearly
I've been
different.
leaning towards a neighbor, but I don't know now. I'm so confused. I always, Miss Kelly, I always wear neutral colors myself. I've been wearing a lot of blacks on camera lately, and I never wear black ever. Like in real life, like when I'm out, it's normal. Well, it's normally t-shirt, but whenever I do wear like dress up clothes, it's always like greens or browns or something like that. It's crazy. I've been wearing a lot of black myself. But she's been wearing all kinds of white, off-white, white. That's all that woman wears.
So what's next?
I don't think she goes home. I don't think she sleeps. She just stays in News Nation. They like filter the air, like Las Vegas,
next?
like casinos or something.
Man.
Rockstar energy drink.
This is a crazy interview, though. So they're saying that
So to help you
had
remember
more,
that Liberty Mutual
significantly
customizes
more
your home
injuries
insurance, here's one that'll really
than Maddie.
Wow,
What you got, if you think about it, I don't know if it's because we've been told more things about Kaylee, but it's like Kaylee had the dog, Kaylee had the ex-boyfriend.
And what did
She
you
just
get,
had
Ryan?
like, I don't know, a lot. There was a lot more like information out with her, I feel like.
Only pay for what you
Than
need.
compared to Maddie. Oh yeah, I do wear off like I do. That's from my mama. My mama always wore off white colors. I also turn my camera on. I just turn my
Your
camera
TV
off when we're like
shows
watching
change.
it because I'm
Your
like I have
TV
my head
bills
down. I
don't
don't
have
want you
to.
guys like be
Get
watching
the
me
same
with
bill
my head
every
down.
month for 3 years.
Because that's no fun, you know. It's not very big though. But I don't want to make myself too big.
Dad.
I like if I make myself the whole
The
camera and then
3-year
I can just
TV
tell you
price
when it's back
guarantee
on.
only from Dish.
Because I'm watching
Tuned
it.
into you. Dad?
Hi, William Devane
It'll probably
here.
come back on right
It's the
whenever I
Medicare
have the
annual
camera up.
enrollment period, and this year
Oh,
it's simple.
pizza. That sounds
1,
good.
before
I
the
didn't eat
deadline, call the
dinner yet.
number at
We
the
had
bottom of your
lunch
screen.
today, but I
2,
didn't really eat
check
that
your
much.
zip code for a Medicare Advantage
Yeah,
plan
me too.
with
Send me some pizza
$0
over.
premiums, prescriptions,
Where did you get it
dental
from? I
care,
bet it's
and the
good.
benefit that adds money back to your Social Security
Where are
check
you from?
every
I
month.
bet that's
3,
where you
you'll
like.
find
There's
out
certain
what you're
places that
eligible
just have
for.
really good food.
The
You know?
annual enrollment
I'm
period
from
has a
Philadelphia.
deadline,
Like that's where
so
I was
don't
born
delay,
and
call
raised
now.
a little bit.
I call
And
every
that's where
year
my
to check
family's
for
from.
plan benefits
And
and
my
cover
gosh,
more of
let
my
me tell you, when they
prescriptions,
have like when you
co-pays,
say
and
they have good
dental
pizza on the
expenses.
East
I
Coast, they
called to
have
see
the
if I'm
best
eligible
pizza.
for a plan with the benefit that adds money
I
back to my
live in
Social
Ohio. We don't
Security
have the
check.
greatest pizza.
I called to find a plan with
More
lower
like
copays and more dental coverage.
if
Millions
you
of
find like
people
a
have
mom
called
and
the
pop
Medicare
place,
Coverage
that's pretty.
Helpline. You should
That's
too.
kind of what you get.
The annual enrollment
Oh, is
period has a
Domino's? Domino's is
deadline.
good.
Call
As long as
now.
they don't like. Sometimes
Call
they put
1-800-371-1900.
like too much seasoning on the crust.
That's
Here, we'll
1-800-371-1900
sneak it over
now.
there. Oh, I know. I hate commercials too. Oh, here we go. Coming back one. So,
I'm Brian
let me
Entin
put
live
it.
in Moscow, Idaho tonight, where we continue to look into what happened in the house behind
There
me.
we go. Sorry,
4
guys.
innocent college students now 3 weeks ago. Still no significant developments, still no named suspect, still no named persons of interest. I want to bring back in Ashley Banfield. And Ashley, I've been looking forward to this because I want to talk to you about this new information that we confirmed just before the special today. The new information is that Kaylee Gonzalez's injuries were significantly more brutal. That is what I can say. Significantly more brutal than her best friend Maddie's injuries. What do you make of that new piece of information, Ashley?
Well, it's astounding, for one, because this is the first time, Brian, that you've been able to get the kind of information that helps us to perhaps try to figure out why this happened. Not saying this is definitive, but it certainly is one additional clue as to whether perhaps Kaylee might have been the target. But you got more information that makes it almost more complicated, and that is where the girls were found. So walk us through what you discovered today, because many of us didn't know which room when Kaylee's father said they were found in the same room and in the same bed.
Yeah, let me show you, Ashley. I want to take you up the hill here and get you oriented. This is the front of the house. There's now private security out front. And oh my, because it's going and it's very, very slippery. But we're going to walk you up to the back of the house. No windows on the side of the house. You've got the front door obviously on the front, which we know has the coded lock. On the back of the house, though, is where the bedrooms are. Confirmed that Kate injuries.
Brian, I think we just lost your mic, and I'm not sure. There, no, you're back. You're back. Can you just repeat what you said in the last 10 seconds? Your mic went dead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was explaining that we confirmed that Kaylee's injuries were more significantly brutal than Maddie's. We've also confirmed that they were on the 3rd floor. I'm going to have Mo show you. 3rd floor here, where not easy access. You've got the balcony. There's a slider. You can't easily jump up there. So what this has us wondering, Ashley, and I want you to kind of walk through this with me. If Kaylee's injuries were the most severe up on the 3rd floor, and there's no way out of the 3rd floor, would that mean the killer specifically targeted the 3rd floor? Because it doesn't make any sense. Why would the killer go up to a floor where there would not be an easy exit for him? What do you make of that, Ashley?
Well, it's significant in that we still don't know where the killings began. Did they begin on the second floor where Xana Kernodle's room was? And of course, Ethan had been staying over that night. And we now know that that room was the room on the far side of the house. So not the side of the house that you're on right now, on the other side of the house at the front of the house. That's Xana and Ethan's. And then did they progress to the third floor? And while your mic was cutting out, I think the key piece of information that the audience couldn't hear was which room upstairs on the third floor the girls were actually found in. That before now, we only knew they were found together, but we didn't know in Maddie's room or in Kaylee's room. And so as we look at the third floor map right there, bedroom number E, or bedroom E, is Maddie's bedroom, and it looks out the back of the house. And bedroom F is Kaylee's bedroom, and it looks out the front, but also the back where the slider is. So what did you discover about which room, Maddie's room on the left or Kaylee's room on the right?
That's right. We confirmed that they were in Maddie's room, which is also interesting. That's something that we did not know. So Kaylee's injuries were significantly more brutal, but they were sleeping together in Maddie's room. So that helps put the puzzle together. There's also something new that helped put the puzzle together, and it was on your show. It was an exclusive interview you had on your show Friday night with Xana's mother. We had never heard from her before. She called into your show. I want to play what she said, and then we can talk about it on the other side, Ashley.
Her father mentioned to me that he had just went and replaced the lock the weekend before.
You said her father mentioned to you that they had replaced the lock?
Yes, that he had, or he had fixed it or something. But yeah, he said that he had fixed it the week before, just to make sure.
The week before.
Yeah. I do not think it was the house that was targeted. I believe wholeheartedly that it was those kids who were targeted. They weren't just acquaintances. These kids were like best friends. They practically were family. These kids were tight knit. They were good friends. They were like family. They were around each other constantly. They did everything together. How could it not be a planned thing? How could it not have been targeted?
Voice of Xana's mom here?
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to ask you actually two significant things that stood out to me during that interview. Number one, what she said about the door locks. Number two, that she feels that, I think she put it, these kids were targeted. Talk to me about why those two things. I mean, they're new, and what do they mean?
Critical. And I just wanted to make sure that our viewers knew that was the voice of Xana's mom. She wasn't on video because she's so distraught. That was just her voice that we heard. But she said that the locks had been worked on by Steve, or rather by Jeff Kernodle, Xana's dad, just the weekend before. She couldn't confirm whether the lock that he had fixed was on Xana's room or whether it was a lock to the outside of the house. But I did say, did the rooms have individual locks? And she believed that Xana's room did have a lock. So very, very significant, because we've been trying to figure out, and there's a picture right there on the screen on the left-hand side, is what one of the rooms in the house used to have in it, a coded lock to get into an individual bedroom, and that each bedroom had a coded lock. That was 3 years ago, and we're not sure if each bedroom still has a coded lock. But it's critical because we've tried to figure out, how did the killer get in to a locked bedroom, and then how did the door perhaps get locked on the way out so that the roommates couldn't get in and thought someone was passed out on the other side? That's critical. But I also think it's very critical that she thinks that the target was the kids, not the home, and that it was someone they knew and trusted. And then one more thing, Brian, about the fact that the girls were found in Maddie's room and not Kaylee's room. I think it's important for our viewers to know that Kaylee was in the process of moving out. So it's possible that many of her things were scattered all over the bed, or the bed was in pieces or had no bedding, and that's why she might have been in her best friend's room. But if the killer went into Maddie's room and yet Kaylee had more injuries, and it's dark, it's the middle of the night, this complicates things even more. Because if Kaylee was the target, then how would the killer know which one of the girls that was in Maddie's room if they were sleeping? Because they look a lot alike, and in the dark, it would be very tricky to tell. And certainly it wasn't Kaylee's room. So very, very big find that you've discovered, but even more complicating.
Yeah, certainly some big developments tonight that really help us piece together the story. Ashley, I know you've been covering this every single night on your show. You and I have been on the phone late at night discussing all of this, and we'll continue to do the same thing next week. Ashley, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
You bet.
Okay, we've still got a lot more to come. We are live in Moscow, Idaho tonight.
A News Nation exclusive, a look inside the crime lab system that handles all homicides in Idaho as we dig into the physical evidence the killer might have left behind, plus unimaginable loss.
A lot of people have been wondering if Kaylee had a stalker, if that was really true.
And new information from a family taking justice into their own hands.
Who's on it with Jardians?
Free.
Just turn that down for a minute. I hate commercials. I'm the worst with commercials, really. I'm an impatient person. I at least like I can admit it, you know, like some people can't admit their faults. I can admit mine. I'm impatient. I don't like commercials. So that was a lot. So they were saying, we'll discuss this at the end too, but Zaina's dad had worked on her locks like the week before. I don't know. I think we played the interview with her mom on last night's live. Yeah, we did. Because somebody commented underneath the live that I was Zaina's mom. And they told me to just come out and say it. So I told him that he was Sherlock. And he got me. I said, you got me. I was like, okay, but whatever. I would have had to have been probably like 15 or something, 16 when I had her. If that was my daughter, but it's not. So, I mean, unfortunately, she was a good girl. I wish I had a daughter like that. Oh, hey, Lady Justice. Oh, you're late, but that's okay. We're watching, if you guys are just now coming in, we're watching the special report on the Idaho 4 murders that was done by Brian Entin with News Nation. So we are watching it through YouTube TV because there's only a few ways that you can like view it unless you have like we have Spectrum TV here in Ohio. So they didn't, that wasn't like one of the carriers that you could use. So I had to go ahead and get this. So that's fine though. Just have more stuff to watch. Hello, TF. I'm not on board with the person entering thinking the person was invited in prior to them going to sleep. It's someone who stayed there frequently, I bet. It could have been. This is a lot of information. So yeah, so they said that they were in they were found in Maddie's room, and I had to wrote something down, so I need to like kind of cross that out because it's kind of making me misspeak. So they were in Maddie's bedroom. And we know that they were both sleeping in there because Kaylee's father had come forward and said something about it not too long ago that they were sleeping together. So all the way. This is so unfortunate. This 2 cents. This is a lot of drama. It really is. There was no forced entry. So I mean, I have to show you guys a picture here soon on the next commercial. I just don't understand the back door though. Like, I want to make sure that I don't miss this. So I'll look it up while we're watching it next. But that back slider door, I just can't get over how it's bright, how bright it is back there. Like, they have all those lights hanging up. Like, I just don't know why someone would pick that door to go into. When the front door, I mean, I know it has a keypad and stuff, but it's so much darker around the building. You know what I mean? Until you like get up to the door. I'll have to show you a picture of it. I don't know if there's any picture. I'll have to find a picture at night. Here we go. But I don't want to switch the. I don't know if I can. Oh, I guess we have like an extra. I need like an extra monitor to do that, I think. So let me see here. I'll have to show it to you whenever we're done. But yeah, so like the back door. Oh, actually, it's back one. Sorry, guys.
Crime scene for a week now, and there are a lot of questions about the evidence inside and what actually happens to it. And just last night, we were standing in this spot. We're pretty much here all the time for the most part. We saw detectives walking out with brown bags in their hands, but we still don't know exactly what was inside. It was an interesting development, though. There were some very, very large bags, and it seemed like they went in to gather some kind of evidence and then came out about an hour later. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, they're poring over what has been taken from this scene. They've been in the home multiple times. News Nation got an exclusive look at the state crime lab. Alex Capriello joins me live now. Alex, you know, there's so much frustration among the community. So many people are wanting answers quickly because, you know, you see the TV shows. They think that they can get these results fast, but it seems like it really does take quite a bit of time.
Right, it does. That's exactly what we learned from the Idaho State Crime Lab. The fact of the matter is that this is an incredibly complex crime scene. And obviously, with the killer still on the loose, every bit of evidence is crucial to try to crack this case open.
The knife, the incredible amount of blood, and the complexity of a bustling home with plenty of visitors. The forensics team is on a case like few others.
It's so very complex. We're not talking about a person that just randomly walks up on the street and stabs somebody and walks away. We're talking about 4 individuals here.
Forensics professor and Body Bags podcast host Joseph Scott Morgan also taking note of how the murderer slipped into the home on Moscow's Kings Road. No broken windows, no broken doors.
And for the investigators, that's a big piece of information. It goes from, if you're looking at a potential suspect, what level of familiarity did they have with this environment? Did they feel comfortable in it? Did they know their way around? Would they say, you know what? Maybe I don't want to go in the bottom. Keep in mind, the 2 people that live downstairs, they didn't die.
And also in this case, a complicated stew of DNA from the roommates and, as a hopping college house, many guests.
It'll spin, it'll inject the blank, it'll spin back.
News Nation getting an exclusive look inside the Idaho State Crime Lab outside Boise.
So this is the DNA casework lab.
Ready for the complexity of this case and others. The lab demonstrating for News Nation how elimination fingerprinting works for cases with a crowded home or in a car with passengers.
You can see that's a really nice print that you left on the glass.
But Idaho's Director of Forensic Services reminds the public, speedy and slick TV evidence processing is not the real deal.
We call it the CSI effect. Some people think, well, we should be able to do this, but the technology doesn't exist for that yet.
Time certainly moving slowly back in Moscow with the decision to tow the victim's car weeks after the murders.
Wherever it is they're storing them, I hope that it would be at the Idaho State Crime Lab, because at crime labs, they have actual evidence processing garages. At that scene, what did they have? They had a piece of yellow tape going around that was providing security.
One solid tip, bolstered by the careful processing of a single clue left behind. The best hope to find justice for 4 young lives.
Just fascinating to see inside that crime lab, the work that they do behind the scenes. Explain to us why this in particular is such a complicated scene.
Right. Well, I kind of briefly mentioned it in the story, but when you think about it, I mean, just look at it. It's a rather large house, first and foremost. 3 stories to it. That's a whole lot of evidence for investigators to comb through. And then not to mention just the proximity to where it is on the college campus, frat row. Obviously, some of the fraternities and sororities are just about 200 yards away. We're told that this was a place where people partied, people socialized. And so that's a whole lot of people that are coming in and out of this home, which could really muck up and blur some of those lines and that evidence in there.
And I know police are remaining tight-lipped for the most part, but do we have a time frame when more of this evidence could come back, the testing?
Well, this is the benefit of actually being able to go to the Idaho State Crime Lab, right? We were able to ask them that, and they told us that they've already processed some of this evidence and they've gotten it back into the hands of the detectives. So right now, information is coming in and they are processing new information, but obviously this could take weeks as, like I mentioned, a lot of evidence to come through.
Thanks so much, Alex. Yeah, it's just fascinating to see inside that crime lab. It's not often that you get to see inside a crime lab like that. So we've still got more to come. Alex mentioned it, still evidence being taken out of the house. You saw the brown paper bags. We got that video yesterday. This is all so active. More coming up after this break, live from Moscow, Idaho. Coming up next, a brand new revelation from the parents of Kaylee Gonsalves. Are you
confident with the way they're investigating?
This is the planning effect. This is how it feels to know you have a wealth plan that covers everything that's important to you. This is what it's like to have a dedicated Fidelity.
Unmute myself. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I had myself muted. You know, not a big deal. I muted the show and then I muted myself. So even better. But I'll add it back to the screen whenever they come back on. I can watch for us. No problem, Tanya. Miss Kelly said, "Oh yeah, I was curious myself and had to ask before that was answered." Yeah, they gave me another shot. Okay, yeah, because I just saw that I saw that somebody else had talked about it, and I guess like the screen was down or something like near it, and I couldn't really get a good view of it. Like I couldn't see like the back side very well, where I was seeing it. So thank you for clarifying. Yeah, CSI has made people think that. But I also think the cops also kind of do that when they're like boasting at the end, you know. But it does take a long time to collect all that evidence. You know that there had to have been so much different DNA in there, all the hair. I mean, just think about like being a girl. Like I have long hair. I don't know if you do heels in there. I don't know if Miss Kelly does actually. I don't know if you have long hair, Miss Kelly. I don't know if you guys do in the chat. But when you have, like, I don't know, shorter hair didn't really bother me, but longer hair, it just is everywhere. I'm always sweeping. I'm always vacuuming up, and it's always just everywhere. So I can only imagine other girls, you know, you have a house full of women, and they all have longer hair, and then you have, like, people coming in, and people just shed their hair, you know. My hair is everywhere, Hills in there said, yeah, like, it is. It's everywhere. You will find it in places that you don't want to find it. You'll be like, where did that come from? Why is there hair there? It's insane. But yeah, so I can only imagine the DNA. And then think about the parties that they've had there, you know, the fingerprints and all of that. If it's not, like I said before, like if it's not DNA on the body or DNA through blood or like saliva on the body, I don't think that they're going to be able to really use it. It's going to have to be, or it's going to have to be like in a mixture on the wall or something, you know, it's going to have to be something like that. I shed hair every day in the shower, Princess Megan. Elsa said, yeah, no, I do too. It's so bad. They say that you're only supposed to shed like a couple hundred a day. And I'm like, not me. I shed so much. I'm going to need some extensions before too long. We had to pull some grays out of the back today. Like, my boyfriend is so kind. He's like, you got a few. And I'm like, get them. So I'm going to have to start dyeing my hair, I think. It's been 15 years. So I think it's about time. You pull out so much in the shower, I do too. All of these people's parents are just going through the worst thing. Like, okay, so the I don't know if you guys watched the candlelight vigil that they had. It was beyond beautiful. I was on a different channel and I watched it. I was on Crime Sleuthen's channel and I cried the whole time. Like I didn't turn my camera on the whole time. Like we had the whole panel. I was like, I can't do it because it was just so sad.
Welcome back. There has been so much information floating around for the past several weeks about this case. Some of it is true. Some of it has obviously been rumors. And a lot of the talk has been focused on whether Kaylee Goncalves may have actually had a stalker. I asked her family to clear that up.
Can you talk a little more about, a lot of people have been wondering if Kaylee had a stalker, if that was really true?
I said this, she's a pretty girl. Her friends are really pretty. So them attracting attention was pretty common wherever they went. So I think she attracted attention, whether that's a dedicated person following her around, maybe not. I do believe that the officers looked in it and I believe what they said, that there was no evidence there.
Are you confident with the way they're investigating?
I think it's hard to say this way or that. They're obviously holding it very tight to chest, which could either be a really, really great sign or a really, really bad sign. And I think depending on not even the day, the hour, especially my dad and I, we go back and forth between they got this and kind of falling apart a little bit and, you know, really looking at specific events that have been strange or maybe should have been looked into more in our eyes.
And it really is just so heartbreaking what that family has been going through. I thank them so much for trusting me and allowing me to come into their home and talk with them. It's so easy to get caught up in the investigation, all the new nuggets that come out with things. But behind the scenes, this is really about the victims and it is about their families. The pain that is even worse because the killer is still on the run tonight. If you are watching this and you have any information about what happened here, think about those families tonight. You can stay anonymous. The number for the police is on your screen. Someone has got to come forward to ease their pain and to make this community finally feel safe again, because they don't feel safe. We are not going anywhere. We will be here covering this story. I'm Brian Entin. Thank you so much for watching this News Nation special report live from Moscow, Idaho.
Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst nighttime symptoms so you can get to sleep and wake up ready to go. How could you?
Oh, sorry, guys. So yeah, so that's the report. I guess I just swapped the screen. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So that was a lot. I want to know. Yeah, that's what I wrote that down, Tom. Which I'm okay. Yeah. So we'll start with that. I want to know why too. Why do they not have any signs of at all? Like no reward signs, and the parents. Kaylee's dad is saying that, like, it's coming from the parents. It's not coming from people that live there. It's like, why can't we do that? That interview was live. That just happened just now. Yeah, that was brand new. You had to like sign up through I had to sign up through YouTube to get it to stream through. But that was tonight. That was a special. Brian Entin did a special with the family and just did a special broadcast over the whole story and just gave us some new details, some new insights. Like it was an hour long, but it was like only a few things were like super like important. I felt like, I mean, it was all important, but it was all information that we knew, which I love hearing about it again because it does refresh your memory. But they came right out in the beginning of the broadcast. I don't know if you guys were here for the beginning of the broadcast or if you guys are just now joining us, but the beginning of the broadcast, it was Brian Entin from News Nation. He did a whole like interview, an hour long, with Kaylee's parents and about just the whole incident, that's the murders that are going on at the University of Idaho, the 4 college students. So he came right out like in the beginning and said that Kaylee had significantly more brutal injuries than Maddie. So that was something that we didn't know before. I want to know, like, I want to know. I want to know, like, how many, like, what do they, because he's saying significantly. That means not just like a few. You know what I mean? I think that Kaylee then was the intended person. I always thought it was one of the girls, but I wasn't sure which one. But I'm leaning now more towards Kaylee because of her having more injuries, unless for some reason she ends up having more defensive wounds maybe, and that's why she had more injuries. But I don't think that was the case. I think that they're trying to tell us that, you know, that she might have been the target. They were found on the 3rd floor. So when he said in his interview yesterday and the day before that he had those interviews, yesterday and this morning in his interviews, Kaylee's dad said that he was talking to like the killer almost, like, and he's like, he didn't have to go up the stairs, but he chose to. So if that means, you know, that means anything to you, that means, to me, that means, hey, like, you know, one of them were the target, and that's why he went upstairs. He chose to go up there because one of them were the target. House is so big, so haunting to see. Oh, see, we have houses like that all over. Like, so where I like, okay, so Ohio State University is where I like used to go all the time. That's where my boyfriend went, and that's where I used to go to like hang out with friends and stuff. I didn't go to that school. I went to homeschooling. I did homeschooling through college, but they had that's what they all had. They had all these huge old houses that they would just renovate, and then they would add on to them. So some of them would be like brick, and then some of them would be siding, and they were all super old and super big, and then you would fit like so many people in them. And that's the thing about the lock situation. Like someone was saying, why didn't the maintenance guy come and fix the locks and do this and that? Well, maintenance people suck. For one, that's probably why her dad was doing it, because they want to wait for the students to move out before they fix anything, because they think that they're students and they're going to break shit. That's just what they think, because that's what students kind of do. They're kind of rough with stuff. You know what I mean? You're drinking at that age, you're partying, you're hanging out, you're kind of a little rougher with things, you know? So they do usually like to just fix things once people are moved out. But if it's a lock, they should have been there to fix it. Yeah, he wanted to go upstairs, Stephanie Blair said. Yeah, he did. He chose to go upstairs. So maybe it is, but I swear we need to look at that interview with the coroner. Like, she was still in the beam. What was her name? Honestly, I spelled that wrong. But, let's see. Was it this one? Okay, let's see if it was this one, because there is one where she says, no, it was one with Ashley Banfield. Is this it? Let me see if this one's it. I don't know. I think this is this one that she's by herself. Let me see, because that's the one that she says it. Maybe it was this one. Okay, I think it might be this. We'll see. No, it would have been the one with. Okay, it's not this. Sorry, guys. Right here. Maybe this.
Okay. Are baffled
So let's see if we can see what she says.
Four college kids at the University of Idaho.
And that plan includes a countywide curfew that begins at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight and lasts until 5 a.m. in the morning.
Trying to
They
figure
are
out where I'm
also
at. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So I don't know if this is it, but we'll see.
Were found dead in a barbaric scene. A savage killer having used a military-styled knife to butcher all of them. And that killer is still on the loose tonight. The autopsies have now been completed, and the coroner who performed them is kind enough to be live with me tonight. Kathy Mabott is the Latah County medical examiner. Ms. Mabott, thank you so much for being here. The first question I have for you is, what was the condition of the bodies when they arrived at your lab?
Well, I am not the medical examiner. I'm the coroner, and the autopsies were done in Spokane, Washington, at the medical examiner's office up there. So,
were you present for any of it, or you received their results?
No, I was there when the autopsies were done.
So were you able to determine that the conditions of the bodies when they arrived?
Yes, they had multiple stab wounds, and all of them have been ruled murders.
All of them have been ruled murders, yes. I don't have to say the obvious, but it is extremely difficult to stab 4 people to death. So that's why I asked the specifics about the conditions. Were there defensive wounds? Was there anything unique to their wounds that would have told a story?
There are likely some defensive wounds, but no, there just were a lot of stab wounds. And so, I mean, it was late at night or early in the morning. So it seems likely that maybe they were sleeping.
Were they found in separate areas of the house?
That hasn't been disclosed yet.
Can you tell me, when you say that they might have been sleeping, were they found in beds?
Yes.
And so can you tell me if there were multiple stab wounds per victim, or were these sort of, individual lethal stab wounds that may have been less in number, but more in lethality?
There were multiple stab wounds. Yes, on them. So, and
were there? Go ahead.
And most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound. Yes.
Can you describe what that one might have been?
But they were to the fatal ones were to the chest area or the upper body area.
Were there, and I only ask this because it sometimes determines what kind of a crime this was, a crime of passion, a random crime, a fight, a struggle. Was there, were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. And they were definitely stabbings. And it has to be somebody that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death.
What happened?
Get this.
I guess I
this
will
offend a lot of people, but
there was more to that.
450-pound sunfish is being preserved at the North Carolina.
Well, there was more to that, I think, to that interview, because I remember her saying after that the necks weren't slashed. When was this? This one was that one was in November. That was November 17th, I think it said. I exit out of it so that it wouldn't keep playing. But I know that there was a longer version of that because I remember her saying to Ashley Banfield, like Ashley asked her. Ashley does ask important questions. I really like her a lot. I really do. I think she's so pretty. I think she's very sincere. You know what I mean? In her reporting and stuff like that. I think she's really a good person. But yeah, I think that like she specifically asked her, like, did they have slash wounds to the neck? And she said no, that the fatal wounds though were like a stabbing to the chest area. So I'm thinking like hopefully the heart and not the lung. Personally, I've had a punctured lung that collapsed my lung. So and it's like a stabbing. My rib was broken and it cut my lung, and then my lung collapsed. So I know what it feels like, and you can't breathe. And that I hope so. I'm hoping it was the heart, where it was like more instantaneous. It's a big knife. Yeah, it's like they're calling it like a K-bar knife. I was actually going to show my boyfriend one earlier. I think that's what they're calling it. If not, let me know. But because I think that some people were calling it maybe something different. I can share this with you guys. I'm thinking that it's like something like this. Like a, this is like, to me, if you think about it, it's like military almost. Like this person has been doing something to where he's been watching videos on this, or he like knows how to be quiet. I mean, to get rid of to murder 4 people, and I don't even know how. I wonder how long he was in the house. You know, survival knife. Yeah, that's kind of what that is. Yeah, I think that's what I've called them too before. They're like hunting knives or something. Like my brother like hunts with these things. You know, like he does like deer hunting and rabbit hunting with his kids and stuff. And they use like those type of knives. But I think that the one that they used maybe had a serrated edge. So I don't know if these ones actually do. And I think that might be the difference. But you can even see it does have like a hilt on it to where like you're not supposed to be able to slip your hand as easily off of it as if you were using like a kitchen knife or something like along those lines. You know what I mean? Like where your hand would slip much more easily because it doesn't have that hilt that like, you know, protects your hand. I said, oh, I'm reading your comment, Miss Kelly. Tony, my outgoing server isn't working. I was trying to send you an email about an odd comment left on another channel section. I took screenshots and I'm glad because they deleted the comments. Oh yeah, send them to me. I want to know. I want to know what's going on. Killer needs to be found. I'm worried he may go harm more people. Yeah, at college. What made me? Yeah, okay. So that's what makes me worry. Could you imagine? Okay, the parents that send their kids back there, and I know that the students that are going back are probably like, Mom, I want to go back. You know, I want to do this. But if I was that parent, I would be like, you're staying home. You can remote learn. But even they said a lot of the students had to go back. Like the fashion students had to go back, like that was taking like fashion classes. I'm like, really? You can't do that at home? Get yourself like a mannequin, you know, put your dress, like your like material in there. I don't know. Do it through Zoom. You would think you'd be able to do that, but I don't know. And then this is what I was going to show you guys because this is weird to me. So they're saying that it was the back slider door, and y'all know I just can't get over that back slider door because, like, I just can't get over it. So I was thinking about it today, and do you think if you were somebody that's going to commit this atrocious crime, that you would go in like, let me find it. If you would like, I don't know if this will blow up or if it's going to be like the video. It's going to be a video, so let's just go back. We're just going to have to show it like this. Let me see if I can zoom in really quick. And of course I can't because it's like a picture, but it'll give you an idea. Okay, so do you see this like back here? I know it's really small. Let me get me smaller. So like the lights back here, it's super bright. If you see like other pictures, it's pretty bright. This one doesn't look as bright, but it's pretty bright back there. I just don't know if someone would risk that. Like with all the lights back there. I'm trying to find another picture, but it's not really, nothing really helping. Let me see. Like you can see them hanging there, but they're pretty bright. Like there was one picture and you could see it. It was like super bright. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I would go back there. Like, you know, I don't know. It's weird to me. It's been 3 weeks. Today is 3 weeks. And I think that they're letting the public know a lot more information, but I don't know if that's good or not. Let me see if there's anything else on the King app, like that are on their website. They have their website set up, which I do love this. I think this is a great idea. I think a lot more agencies need to do this actually. They have their website set up to where you can go on the City of Moscow, Idaho website, and you just go right here to King Road Homicides and click on it, and it'll tell you right over here. It gives you the crime tips, the number, the latest press release, which was 11/23. And we have, I believe that we did that live on my channel. I'm pretty sure we did. We do lives like every day, maybe twice a day. This depends. And then it gives you an update. This is December 3rd. So we are now on December 4th. So it doesn't look like they have a December 4th update. Let me go down here. They usually do at the bottom, but they give you all these resources. They give you their press conferences. And then, oh, they haven't updated it today. That's strange. Because they update it like every day. The 29th, 28th, 27th. Oh, wait, they didn't do the 26th. That was Thanksgiving probably, right? 24th, they didn't. So, okay, yeah, they do it every day. But yeah, that's their little tab. Let me see. Do I have anything else on here? I have like tabs open, so I was just wondering. I'm gonna check on Twitter too, see if there's any more news, like anything new that's going on that we don't know about. That's why that's why I think the perp was already inside the home with them. I think he was maybe going to pass out there, but something happened after everyone fell asleep. Maybe he got rejected by Kaylee. Maybe. He could have definitely been inside. Or what if he was hiding They were found in Maddie's room. Yeah, he could have been in Katie's room. You guys are right. I don't. Let me see. Yeah, everyone's saying that Tomboy. I didn't see your comment, but yeah, I agree. They could have been inside the house. They definitely could have been inside. They could have been. I'm gonna take that off the screen. But they could have been inside the house, and they definitely just could have been waiting, for them to come home. They could have snuck in after the roommates came home at 1 o'clock, but before 1:45. Before, they started arriving, the first set, Zaina and Ethan, before they got home. Or maybe he was able to sneak in when they were still there, like still awake. I mean, I know that's creepy, but, you never know. Maybe he was able to do that. I mean, people are able to be quiet if they need to be. I'm not able to be, but some people are. Like when you can hear me coming, I'm like a stampede. Like my mom used to say, it sounds like a stampede coming through the hallway. When I walk heavy with like my feet, my balls of my feet. Was already on that house and invited. Do you think he was invited there? That's so crazy. Lady Justice said maybe one or both of the surviving roommates let them in because they knew them. Maybe. But you would think they would tell that. Yeah, but they went through the phone. See, that's the thing. Kaylee's dad said, I don't think I wrote that down, but he went through her phone. Oh, I think it was on this paper. And there was no distress. There was no distress detected. You know what I mean? Like she didn't call 911. She didn't try to reach out to anybody, like saying that anybody was bothering her or anybody was around or anything was creepy was happening. So he did say that because he has access to her phone, which I think I know that you're a college kid and stuff, but I feel like someone should always, like, your parents should always have access to your phone. So just in case something ever happens, they can get that information right away or give somebody access to that information. You know what I mean? Like my boyfriend has access to that. If something were to happen to me, he would have to come on and do a live with you guys. He'd have to tell you guys, he'd have to talk to you. It would be cute. But that was a good interview and everything. That really was. We got I don't know. The coroner said that they were found in their beds, multiple stab wounds per victim and one lethal to the chest, upper body. I just can't believe that they found. I mean, I knew that they were together and they were found together, but when you hear it again, it's just so sad. But I mean, I don't know. At least at least they were together. I think that if they were here right now, they would say we had each other. You know what I mean? Like they were that close, and that's what's so sad. Like it's so terribly sad. And then Ethan and Zaina. I mean, it's so unfortunate, but at least they had each other too. Like, like if you're gonna go out with somebody, if I'm gonna go out with somebody, like, and there's no way of you know what I mean, just stopping it, I would want to go out with my boyfriend because he would be a good fighter. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't go out without fighting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nope. Not my kids, sugar. So I said they would not be they would not under any circumstance be going back there. They'd be getting an immediate transfer. Yeah. I think so too. I don't think that I would be able to do that. Not right now, not until they've caught. Because you don't know if it's an isolated incident. He may have enjoyed it. Maybe it was an isolated incident. It was going to be, but then maybe, in fact, he did. He enjoyed it. And so, maybe there's nobody that's safe right now. It's so crazy. And it's crazy that all those houses are just like right there and they're kind of like tight in that tight knit spot. So it's kind of like they, whoever lives there, if it is a neighbor, if it's somebody in that area, they can have all those people to look at. And then when are they going to you know what I mean? What if this is so bad, but what if they end up cleaning up that house, renting it out, and something happens there again? Which I think they should just knock that house down and put a park there. You think it's isolated? Tomboy Charm said. Yeah, my eye is bothering me tonight, but it's been watering. It's still a little swollen. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's still a little swollen. And when I look down, it makes it worse. So, good job. But yeah, I think Kaylee and Maddie were drunk dialing Jack. Girls can be crazy, can do crazy fun things when they've had something to drink. Yeah, I think that's all that was too. I really do. And I don't know if you guys saw him. He went on, "Is your eye bugging you, honey?" Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's my like lower eyelashes. But I think that they were just, I think they were just calling Jack because they were crazy. They just wanted to be crazy and just hang out and just talk to him. But did you guys see his speech that he did at her celebration of life? He did he went on stage and he oh my gosh, it was heartbreaking to see it. He loved that girl, and you can tell he's just an introvert. He's very introverted, and yeah, girls do that. We do. When we're in our 20s, we call people. Me and my best friend, when we were like 16, when you had the telephone at your house, like with the speakerphone on it, and it was like the telephone with like the cord and everything. We would like prank call people because back then that's what you did. You prank called people and stuff. You know what I mean? You got we weren't even drunk. We were 16. We were just dumb. But you know what I mean? We were just being like teenagers then. But then as we got older, we were like 20 in our 20s. Then we would just we would drunk dial people for sure. Cami said she agrees with Miss Kelly. Yeah, that school is tainted. I don't think that, Yeah, they will have to demolish that house and just rebuild. They should just put like a little park there or something. I have a blanket. You guys are wondering what I'm like pulling up. You can't really see it, but I was keeping it. This little guy's going out. One of my little candles is. Yeah. Wait, was that Jack that did? Or Jake did? Yeah. Maybe it was Jake that I heard. It was one of the guys, and it was really touching. It was really, 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 really sad. I thought it was Jack. I'm going to have to look it up. Let me see. Oh no, it was Maddie's. I'm looking at the wrong person, aren't I? Yeah, it was Maddie's. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Kaylee's, but Maddie's boyfriend, yeah. There's too many Jake, Jacks, Joes. I have them all wrote down over here somewhere. I've got like everybody's name. And then I've been trying to write like everyone down and seeing kind of what's like going on, just like around the time that they're like, death. Not like I'm not like sleuthing into their Facebook or nothing. I'm not like digging in. I'm just trying to figure out like what happened that night, and who was dating who and who was talking to who, and because it's a lot of names, And that was one of the things when I first started true crime. I never thought I would be able to remember like somebody's name because I'm terrible at remembering names. But I've been so good at it because you just really don't forget them. You just don't forget their names. Let me see. I was trying to read some of your comments. Hey everyone, I have a funeral all early in the morning. I'm getting ready for bed, and I'll try to catch you again real soon. I missed you. Been a crazy week. Oh, okay, Miss Callie. You have a good night. I think they were calling Jack for help, in my opinion. But don't you think that they would call the cops? You think I think he may have intended to, but he couldn't. Maybe he couldn't perform it. Think about it. If Kaylee's a target and you have Maddie there, and you murder her. I hate to say that, but you murder her. Are you really still in the mood? Because you got like a person dead there. You know what I mean? Like that might kill the vibe that he had going on. Like the fantasy might have ended. Do you know what I mean? When he realized that she wasn't, he might have okay, so if this was like a stalker type of deal, this is what I'm thinking. He would have thought of Kaylee as being like perfect in some way. And maybe she broke that somehow, like being perfect. Maybe he heard that she was going to be going to her back to her boyfriend or had a boyfriend or whatever the case may be. And then he didn't think she was as perfect anymore. But I think after stabbing her, he may think that too and may not want it to essay. I don't know. I'm glad that he did it. Good night, Lady Justice. Oh, you're telling her, Miss Kelly. I thought you're telling me. I didn't see the last comment. He brought up memories of when I spoke at my mom's funeral. Oh. Yeah, no, I cried. I cried when I saw the candlelight vigil. I cried all through that. I was on Crime Sleuthin's channel when that happened, so I was on a different channel. So if you want to check that out, you can't see my face because I had the camera off the whole time because my face was so red. And good thing I was at my house alone. Like my boyfriend wasn't out of town for the that night. He came back that night, but because he would have came in here like, what are you doing? Are you crying? Because it was the most touching ceremony. It was perfect. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It wasn't obnoxious. It was beautiful. The parents that spoke were great. Like Ethan's mom set it off, but then you got Maddie's dad and you got Zane or Kylie's dad come up there and speak. And Waterworks were it was bad. Stalker, in your opinion? I think it might have been too. I think it was somebody that lived around them, like around their house. I think it was somebody in that general area in the neighborhood. I think it was a neighbor, somebody that could be around but not really be seen. Me too. My heart aches for the families. It really, really, really does. Like I don't know if I've really ever cried over a case like this one. Maybe, who was it? No, I think it was just this one. I've been like so torn up about this case. Oh, thank you. I try. We try to give you like a lot of information like through a little bit of time instead of, dragging it on out. But we did it like, I did like a 3-hour live or 3.5-hour live yesterday. I was like, whoa, man, guys. But my seat's comfortable, I got my pen and paper here. I got my decorations. I got my tree for extra air. So we're good. And I got my 4 candles here for the victims. I lit these when they did the candlelight vigil. I happened to have these and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So I've been lighting them every time I talk about the case. So that's why those are lit. Y'all, do you know Maddie was an only child, don't you? See, I didn't. No, I didn't, but I could see that. I could see that. Nice job in moving back. Oh, thank you. Awesome. I love that. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm gonna hop off here soon. I'm gonna try to digest some of this stuff and sort it out in my head. This is such a tragedy. This is really sad. You go to college and like her dad said, Kaylee's dad reminds me of my father so much, like the way he looks, the way he acts, his wife having to calm him down, say, calm down, honey, like during the interview, he's getting her name out there. He's going to make sure this doesn't die. And the way he thanked the interviewer for just being there and interviewing them, like that's just touching, they don't want this story to die. So I love that. We're not going to let it die. This story is not going to die on this channel. Not at all. We're going to make sure of that because we know that this was a murder of 4 kids that went to school that were they were almost ready to graduate and to start their lives. They went out on a weekend to have a couple of drinks. It wasn't like they were out smoking meth or doing drugs or, doing all the stuff that other kids their age do, like other college kids do, or people that age or whatever, or people even anywhere, any age. They were doing the right things. They were really doing, P's and Q's were in order. And then all of this happened. And they were being diligent. When the sheriff said for people to be diligent and stick in, he said stick in groups. It was like one of the first press conferences. I'm like, what do you think they were doing? They were in groups of 2. They were in groups. It was nighttime, but who doesn't walk outside at night when they're in their 20s? I used to walk in downtown Columbus by myself in my 20s. Didn't even care. Shouldn't have probably did that, but I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, you think you're like invincible at that age too. So you don't think about that. And if you live in a small town, you don't think of somebody coming in and bursting that bubble that you live in. Oh, you're welcome, Lady Justice. Have a good night. Yeah, just comment on the replay. Yeah. Well, I think that Kaylee was back for school. Okay, so I think what happened was that was just Thanksgiving break that she was out for. It wasn't that she was coming back to show Kaylee the car. It was that she was coming back, I think, a day early or something. I think she wasn't supposed to come back to like Sunday or Monday, but she still had to finish up school because they have midterms coming up or something like that. They were saying on one of the like on one of their interviews, like they said that there was like still more time that they had to go through. So, but that's what I saw anyway. But I'm not really sure. The rabbit hole said female obsessed with wanting to be just like Kylie, and Kylie was, and the other victims were friends of hers, just ignored out in public or at a party, was humiliated. It could have been, or it could have been a male or a female. I mean, I don't know. Do you think? I don't think a female just has that much endurance. Like, I guess if you're, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I've been broken before. I've had some broken legs and I had to walk on some rods. But, and that's endurance. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you got to be strong. But there's no way that I could, there's no way. I don't see it. Like, Ethan looked strong. Even if he was drinking a little bit or whatever the case, he was pretty strong. Like, do you think it would have to be somebody with like some brute strength? Like, if this girl's in the gym and she's like fit, maybe. But I'm thinking a male has to be a male, too swift, too not. Girls are clumsy. I feel like girls are clumsy too. I don't know. I mean, I know I am. I would probably like, this isn't a laughing matter, but I would probably, if I was going up the stairs, I'd probably trip going up. Like, you know what I mean? And make noise. I just think it was somebody swift. Yeah, it's like, I don't believe it just because, like, well, Ethan's like, he's a big boy. Like, I mean, he's like a big boy, but he looks strong. I think he looks strong anyway. Yeah, most women don't kill with a knife. They kill with either gun, poisoning, something like that. We would rather not. I think that it's because, like, even though shooting is messy, I think that women don't want to clean. We think of cleaning up a mess. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be messy. We don't want to do that. Like, I really do. I think that. I think that women think that way. Sometimes. Anyway. Yeah, they do have death row there. I checked when we were watching the broadcast too. I was like, oh, do they have that? They haven't used it since 2012, but this is definitely a case that would qualify, I would think. But I think I am going to jump off of here. I had so much fun with you guys tonight. I'm going to come back on tomorrow sometime. I think I'm going to come on in the morning. That's why I'm getting off of here because it's getting a little bit later. You guys got me up past my bedtime for like the last 2 nights. But that's okay. Don't talk about feeling like I had 8 surgeries on my, oh my gosh, right ankle, foot, my 9th on Wednesday. Oh, you just had another one? I had a surgery on my oh man, I didn't think about it. My eye in October, it was my 17th surgery. So I'm up there. It's just, it's great though. It is. Like, I do have good doctors, and you know, I don't know. I try not to fret anymore. My boyfriend asked me today though, he's like, can we not have any more surgeries? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's really sweet. Like, you know, because it's a lot on him too. And today, like, so they cut my ear, like, in the back to, like, get cartilage, and then, like, in the front right here. And today, out of nowhere, like, just something like a shooting pin, it felt like it just, my ear hurts so bad. I was like, are you kidding? So I've been taking my medication like I should, because I wasn't taking it like I should. Oh, no, you are, Superwoman. Thank you. You've had 23 plus. Yeah, no, I don't know if he meant just 17 on the eye or 17 altogether, but I'm thinking 17 altogether. I don't remember being in there for 17 of these eye surgeries. but it's been a lot. It has been a lot. And Sugar Spice has 14. We've all had surgeries. My channel, like, okay, so before my channel was True Crime Channel, it was more for like injuries and from a car accident or traumas or anything like that. So I do share stories on my YouTube page now. I share your true crime stories if you'd like me to, or any trauma stories. And if you'd like me to do that, you can send them to my email at titaniumbuiltboo@gmail.com. You just send them in like story format. I just read them. I do like a pre-recorded. We did one with Leslie. I don't think Leslie's in here anymore. I think she was earlier, or maybe it was last night. I don't know if she's in here today. But we did one with her, and she wrote it out so beautifully. I mean, I was almost crying by the end of it. It was really, really nice. So it's on my page if you guys want to watch it. It's been a while, so it's been about a month ago, or a little while longer than that since I recorded it. But I do come live every day. I'm just testing the waters to see when I should come live. I think I may do like morning lives, early morning between like 9 and 10, maybe 8, 9, and 10, between 8, 9, and 10, 8 to 10. And then come back on in the evening time and see how that goes. But we're just going to figure it out, you know? Stabbing in enemies up close and very personal. Yeah, like, or stabbing is intimate, up close and very personal. The rat hole said, yeah, it is. It really is. Oh my gosh, 7 on my foot. I had one on my foot. So I had a broken second metatarsal. Like the whole bone was broke, like on the top. And I was walking on that for about 3 years. And I didn't know it was broke. It was a dead foot. I had compartment syndrome in it. So they had to like slice it open, and then it was broke on top of it, but they never knew that part. So I was walking on it. I had to learn how to walk on it. I was walking on it for 3 years. And every time I started going back to work, and I was serving, which was stupid. I shouldn't have been doing that, but I wanted to see if I still could with my eye and everything. And so I would come out from work and I'd be like bawling my eyes out almost. Like my foot hurt so bad. I'm like, it feels like someone took a sledgehammer to it. Like, what is going on? So I went to my orthopedic surgeon. She sent me to another orthopedic surgeon. We had to do surgery and put metal plates in there and screws. And now I'm bionic woman everywhere. It's just what I am. My TikTok. Oh, so my TikTok is at TitaniumBuilt. My Twitter is at Titanium_built. So if you guys want to follow me, I'm always posting on Twitter now. I've been doing really good at that. Patreon is at TitaniumBuilt. We do have a members only that you can join. You can do like special perks, special like membership things. It's really awesome. You guys should check it out. I put a lot of work into that, and I can just teach you how to do things like grow your own YouTube channel, start your own LLC business, start your own boutique. Those are things that I have. So just those little things. I'm like a chameleon, you know? I went to school for criminal justice and applied science, and now I own a boutique. That's just, you know what I mean? And I'm a YouTube creator. It's a different path, you know? So I'm a little bit of everywhere. 3 back surgeries, shoulder surgery, 1 foot. Oh, rest where my mouth. I'm about to be doing some mouth stuff. And I don't even, the mouth's the worst pain. I've had a broken rib. I've had a punctured lung. I've had a collapsed lung. You know what I mean? I've had some real bad injuries. Lost my eye. Mouth, anything. Nope. Count me out. Count me out. I had my mouth wired shut for 8 weeks. Forgot about that. When you said that, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So I had my mouth wired shut for 8 weeks, and it ended up like damaging like some of my teeth to where like they were like, because they had to put the wires under them. So I like surgeries can be like, they can remove your teeth, have to put like implants in, you can have that kind of a surgery. I would love to just have all new teeth. Not even kidding you. I've been having problems with my teeth for over 2 years now. And my teeth were broken in the back, and they started cutting my tongue. And like, I couldn't get off of work at the time, so I could barely talk. And it was like the worst pain. It still happens a lot. So if you ever hear me like go like that, that's why it just still happens. It's the way that they molded my bottom teeth now. The dentist messed up my teeth where she molded them, and she didn't sand them down right. So we're still cutting both of my tongues on each side. Yeah, I have a picture of it. You want to hear a funny story before I get off here? So funny story. I had these like lesions, like lacerations in my tongue. so bad that I was like, I have to take a picture of this. You know, I was like, this is just like really bad. I need to take a picture and show somebody. So, because I'm getting ready to see a new dentist finally. So I took a picture of my tongue and I go into CVS and I only printed off like 3 pictures. And I go in there to get them. And this guy, like Richard Allen, you know, that's like weird that I said CVS pictures, but he's like holding the pictures like this and he's like smiling behind him. And I'm like, oh my God, he looked at my pictures. And he was like, can I ask you? And I was like, it's my tongue. He was like, I thought it was like something for OnlyFans. Fans only or whatever it's called. And I was like, no. That's my tongue. But it was very funny. Very funny. I was like, oh my, because like they definitely look at the pictures when they print them out because they have to see if they're developing right. It was so embarrassing though. Oh my gosh. It was so embarrassing. 56. I'm 37. I think most of my people in here are my age or a little bit older than me. And I love that. I love that so much. Sugar and Spice has been through it all, but she's beautiful. She's ridiculously beautiful. She sent me pictures. I see that. Anger motivated stabbing could easily be done by a female of large stature or smaller with martial art training. Yeah, or military training. Because like, I swear this person does have some sort of military training. Oh, you're 34. You're probably the youngest one. Stephanie Blair, you're probably the youngest one in our group. I thought I was. You're 70, Lady Justice? I didn't know that. Oh, I'm still going to call you Miss Linda. I like Lady Justice, though, too. I like them both. Ladies don't need to. And we don't care. I don't think we really care at this point. Age is a number, I feel like. But now that I'm, okay, so I don't know if you guys did this. I lost my mom when I was 30, but now that I'm like 37, I think of my mom having me at 33 and like what she did for me, like, you know what I mean? And it makes you like almost cry, like thinking about that kind of stuff. Like if you think about it, like I'm 37, I'm like, man, if I don't have any kids. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if I had like a 3 or 4 year old, what would that be like? Would I like break her? You know, like, and my mom did a really good job. So it just makes you like, I don't know, it makes me appreciative. When you get older, you appreciate things more. Oh no, you are beautiful. I feel the same way all the time. I do. I like this little mark. It's like a fat graft, and they did like a fat graft on me, and it's just like a little bit of a bump. I hate it. And instead of him wanting to go in and take it out, like that's what we were going to do, he wants to just get me fillers. But it has to be done right. He has to put the paperwork in right, or they're not going to accept it. So I have to talk to him and tell him. It's so sad. I have to tell him these things. But if they put it in, they'll consider it cosmetic. So my insurance will decline it if it's like a cosmetic filler. But if they say, and because they're only going to do it on one side of my face, fill this side more in, that it's considered, I'm considered deformed or deformity. If you say that, which I'm like, I'm cool with my doctor saying that at this point, if it'll get me something. And it usually will go through because it's literally, it is a deformity because we're only working on one side. It's not like I'm getting fillers on both sides. I've never gotten fillers in my life or both. I've only gotten Botox because of my headaches, but I've never gotten it like, from here down. Nothing goes on that. You're a mental health therapist over here? Really? Just started your LLC. I'm impressed by what you're doing here and how far you've come in. Creating your own. Such a journey. Oh my gosh. We need some mental health people up in this chat. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. No, like, we were talking the other day just about the mental health, like, how mental health is just really hard right now to get in to see people. And I was talking about, I have a really good counselor. We're trying to get me in to see a psychiatrist, but it's on a wait list. But it's really, that's awesome that you work in the mental health. My sister-in-law does too. Where are we from? I don't know. I don't know what I said. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah. That's what I use for my skin removal surgery. Lost close to 150 pounds. Oh my gosh. You lost a whole person. Dang, good for you. That is awesome. Wow. So, okay, I cannot even imagine. losing that much weight. I lost, I don't know, probably a good 60 pounds. Like, it's not all together, but you know, throughout. And then I gained some. I've gained a lot back, but and oh my gosh, it was crazy. Like I don't know. Like the first 3 months, I didn't eat anything but like lettuce. I was grazing on freaking grass, and I gained 4 pounds or something. I was so mad. It was a deterrent, but I kept going, and then it finally, once I plateaued, it all came off. Yes, so I am going to get off of here. You guys all have a good night. Jeffrey, you have a good evening. Nebraska. I'm from Ohio. I usually have Ohio shirt on, but I have an Ohio little koozie on my soda. You need to lose about 40. Oh no, I'm going on a diet tomorrow. It's going to be a fasting because Friday is my boyfriend's Christmas party, and I want to look nice, and I just want to look really nice. And his boss's girlfriend, like they're friends, and me and her are friends, and she's like really cute, but she's like Instagram out. We haven't seen her in 2 years, and since the 2 years has gone by, like all she does is take pictures all day long, like for her job and for Instagram, and just she's a picture person, and I'm not at all. So you all are going to see me. I'm going to post pictures. I'll post them on both the members only, and I'll post them on the regular community tab so you guys can see them. But I'm gonna do like a live, and I'm gonna show you my dresses because I have a few dresses coming in, and I need some help. Like I need to look cute. The girl needs to look cute. So I am. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, I know you were still here, heels in there. I'm usually just like always on, and I have everything in the background. I always watch your channel, by the way. I love your channel. If you haven't subscribed to Heels in the Air before, go check her out. Check out the channel. It's very, very funny. Very good channel. It's like, man, when you need a break, and you do some really good, thoughtful things too. But your funnier stuff is what I need in my life sometimes. So you guys all have a good evening. I am going to go up here. I'm going to go here another 20 minutes. So I'm going to go eat something, and I'm going to go to bed. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning on a live. I'll probably post it tomorrow, like let you guys know what time it'll be. So just look for it in the morning if you guys are interested. Maybe when you're at work, you can turn me on. No, I can't. You know what I mean. Turn it on. You know what I mean. So you guys have a good night. I'll see you in the next live. Bye, guys.